Alphabet, the company that owns Google, just told you that their profits jumped 81%. What they didn't tell you is where half that money actually came from. And when you find out, you're going to question everything that they say to you and think twice about ever maybe investing in the company again. Hi there, everybody. Steven here again. I'm an active futures trader who reads balance sheets for a living. If you get even 1% smarter during this video, be sure to subscribe. We show you the truth like this in just 6 or 7 minutes every single day. And what happened inside Google and Amazon's financials is the most important thing I've seen reported this quarter. So here's the official story. Alphabet, Google's parent company, they just posted $62.6 billion in profit. That's an 81% jump. Amazon reported one of its best quarters in years. So AI is working? Big tech is back, baby. That's the headline. That's what most people walked away with. But here's what's buried inside of the footnotes. You see, $28.7 billion of Alphabet's profit, nearly half of it, it didn't come from search, didn't come from YouTube, not from Google Cloud. It came from updating the value of a stake they own in a private AI company called Anthropic. You know them for Claude. It's not revenue, it's not a product sale, but it's a number on a spreadsheet that said their investment is worth more than it was last quarter. So they counted that as profit. Amazon, by the way, did the exact same thing. Their earnings release, in their own words, stated that the first quarter net income included pre-tax gains of $16.8 billion from their investment in Anthropic. That's more than half of Amazon's pre-tax income for the entire quarter. It's all gone if you remove that one single line item. See, this is where it stops being an accounting story and becomes something that should genuinely make you angry. Amazon put $8 billion into Anthropic. That stake's now valued, according to Amazon's own disclosure, at over $70 billion. An $8 billion investment that became $70 billion on paper, not because Anthropic went public, not because millions of buyers and sellers in an open market agreed on their price, but because a small group of private investors in the last funding round set a valuation number, and two of those investors were Google and Amazon themselves. Now watch what happens when you follow that logic all the way through. Google and Amazon invest in Anthropic. That pushes Anthropic's valuation even higher. Higher valuations make the stake they own look like it's worth more. They take that increase as profit. Then they commit more money. Google just announced an additional $40 billion to give to Anthropic last week, which pushes the valuation higher again, which makes the stake worth more again, which becomes profit again. Wash, rinse, repeat. They are manufacturing their own earnings, legally, of course, using an accounting rule that's been in place since 2018. And they're doing it at a scale that no one's ever seen before. Now, here's where it gets real wacky, and this is the part that should stop you cold. A tax and accounting consultant who teaches at Columbia Business School told Fortune magazine that the accounting itself isn't controversial. The companies are following the rules. What he called interesting, and that word is doing a lot of work, by the way, is that a company can control the value of its own asset by engaging in transactions with the same asset. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a word Columbia professors use when he means something is possibly seriously wrong here. And here's the part that never makes the headlines. This isn't new, it's just bigger. In the first quarter of 2025, Alphabet booked $8 billion in unrealized gain. They traced that back to SpaceX. Third quarter of 2025, $10.7 billion. Amazon has disclosed Anthropic-specific gains every single quarter since their investments began. What's different now, though, is the scale. This quarter's equity gain for Alphabet was more than triple the previous record, and Anthropic is currently in discussions about a $900 billion valuation. If that number gets set in the next funding round, and Google and Amazon are two of the investors who helped set it, the market next quarter could be even larger than anything you've ever seen. Now, the accounting rules that allow this were controversial when introduced. Regulators warned in 2018 that requiring companies to count unrealized gains as profit would make earnings volatile in ways investors couldn't make sense of. The Columbia professor said plainly that this quarter confirms it perhaps wasn't the best idea the regulators ever had. Now, it sure wasn't. And the company's sophisticated enough to understand that rule at scale, and they figured out how to use it to report record profits, while their actual product business, like search, cloud, and advertising, They carry all that weight quietly underneath. Now, zoom out right now because this is the K shape playing out inside the most powerful earnings reports on Earth. You see, the people at the top of the K, they own all of this directly. They're institutional investors, sovereign wealth funds. They're basically insiders who got into Anthropic early and watched their paper valuation climb with every funding round. They understand exactly what's being reported and exactly what it means. Meanwhile, the person who saw the headline, Google profits up 81% in their newsfeed and felt reassured about the economy, they didn't know that what they were really reading was a number that's just a fancy way of moving money around and making sure you hit a profit every single month. And that includes company reporting the same profits. See, they don't have access to the private rounds of funding. They can't see footnotes unless they read the full filing. They just get the headline and move on. And that's not accidental. Headlines are written by press releases, and press releases are written by companies who are reporting the profits. So the 81% is real. The footnote is also real, and only one of them made the news. Now, if you want to understand how financial engineering like this reshapes the real economy, not just tech stocks, but what it means for your retirement account, your savings, and where actual wealth is being created versus what's being performed, that's exactly what I break down on my long form channel. Link is in the first pinned comment down below. And if you watch this far and want to stop just understanding this and start positioning yourself on the right side of these companies, learn how you could go into the markets and consistently reach for $100 to $200 a day. That's what I teach with 1K a day. Use the code K-shaped at checkout. The link to that and my other channel are pinned in the comments below. Now, tell me, did you see the 81% headline? Because I want to know how many people in this comment section were told Google was thriving without being told why. There's videos next to my head. You should click on them. You will enjoy them. YouTube has an uncanny way of knowing what you're going to like.